and thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel today. I'm Nurse Angela. Are you worried about starting dialysis? Have you or someone that you know and love been told that you are going to need to start dialysis and you're having mixed feelings about it? Today, I want to tell you about 5 things you must know before starting dialysis. Number 1, you may or may not know that there are 2 main types of dialysis. There's hemodialysis and there is peritoneal dialysis. And if you don't know what those are, the difference between the two, don't worry, I have you covered. Check out my other video on modality options. Now, the first thing you must know before starting dialysis is that there are 2 different types of dialysis. There is hemodialysis and there is PD dialysis. And no matter which dialysis option you choose, you are going to feel better. So that's one thing you have to understand. Before you start on dialysis, know that whether you choose to start the PD dialysis, where you do it at home yourself after you've been trained by an experienced nurse, or you choose to go in-center and have a trained technician and nurses care for you and do the treatment for you in the dialysis unit, that it doesn't matter which one you start. You are going to feel better with treatment. And then number 2, the second thing you must know before starting dialysis is that it's really simple, but it's just that you do have the right to choose. You have the right to choose one of those 2 modalities that we talked about already. You have the right to choose to do your treatment once you've been trained by an expert nurse how to do it safely at home, using the PD peritoneal dialysis supplies at home, or you can choose to go in-center and do it. So the second one, like I said, is that you do have the choice to choose. But you do have to talk to your doctor about it, because there may be certain things that is specific to your situation that may make it not likely or possible for you to do any of the modalities that you have chosen to do. Then number 3 is that if you've chosen to do the dialysis that you do at home, you may have heard that there are certain requirements that you have to meet, such as having a clean environment, or maybe if you've had an abdominal surgery before, you might not be a candidate. I wanted to reassure you that those are not always the case. Those are not always reasons why you cannot do PD. There are ways to get about that. For example, your environment. An experienced nurse can teach you and help you organize your environment so that it is good. It's a good standard where you can do your treatment safely. And if you've had abdominal surgery before, maybe you've had hernia, still, you can talk to your doctor and find out if your own specific situation means that you cannot do PD. So that's the third thing I thought was important for you to know, is that you should not rule yourself out. And then number 4 is that, I hear a lot of people talk about getting a kidney transplant. They say, they think that instead of doing one of the dialysis options or choose one of the dialysis options like PD or hemo, they say, well, I just want to get a transplant. Well, that depends. You need to know where your health status is at. If you are at the point right now where you are needing dialysis, then you need to understand that you would need to start on one of the 2 dialysis options, and then you get worked up, you get to the point where you can now be a candidate for kidney transplantation, because getting a kidney transplant is a process. And if you are at the point where you are already having the signs and symptoms of kidney failure, you're having poor appetite, you are having bad taste in your mouth, you are your mental focus is not at what it used to be. You are not able to concentrate as well. Things like that, and you might be having shortness of breath. So if that's already where you're at, then it's not likely that waiting for a kidney transplant to come available is the thing to do. But I want you to also understand that even if you start peritoneal dialysis or you start hemodialysis, you are still a candidate. You can still be a candidate for kidney transplant to receive a kidney. So it doesn't matter, again, whether you start on hemodialysis or you start on PD, you can still get kidney transplanted. Then the fifth and the last thing that I want to talk about today in terms of the 5 things I thought was important for you to know before starting dialysis is that you can start on any of the 2 dialysis options and be able to switch to the other one. So if you, let's say, had an emergency situation where you ended up in the hospital and you were needing urgent dialysis, what would have happened is that you would have gotten a hemocatheter placed right into your chest through to the heart, and so that you can get a dialysis, urgent dialysis in the hospital. And perhaps maybe your potassium was high, so they had to do it. But that's okay. Just because you started off in hemodialysis doesn't mean that you have to stay in hemodialysis. You can transition over. So with the right education, you can then make the plans to get a peritoneal dialysis catheter, which is a catheter they're going to put in your abdomen, and then you will be trained by a peritoneal nurse that will then teach you and get you ready for going home on PD dialysis. So those are the 5 things I thought was very important that you should know. Of course, there are more things. And if you check my channel, I'm going to be having more and more videos available for you guys to give you more information about what your options are, as far as getting you enough information where you feel confident and comfortable as to the choices that you are making relating to your kidney health and dialysis. So I'm not going to take too much more of your time today, but if you haven't already subscribed, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will be making more videos for you, and I look forward to seeing you back. Thank you.